The sugar substitutes are going to drive you to want more sweet flavors, and they're also going to force your body to deal with the chemicals that make them up.
If you want to change the way you eat, go to eat, like I said, fresh fruit. It's got vitamins A, C, E, magnesium, zinc, phosphorus, folic acid, antioxidants, and it's so much better for you.
What we're running into is essentially a chemical that is being substituted for a real food. And one of the hallmarks of our, philosophy around eating, and I know yours too, is that we eat real food. Hello, everybody. This is Ryan Diener with Holistic Health Associates, and continuing our video series on collaborating with high-quality healthcare professionals in the Frederick and Maryland area. I am delighted to bring on once again Chef Dave Rolls of Chef for Health, who is now an official competitor, completed competitor of the World Food Competition in the vegetarian category. Congratulations on that again.
Thank you.
Dave.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun.
I bet. Looked like it. And we've got a fun topic for everybody today. We are going to be talking a little bit about diet soda, something that comes up a lot in the treatment room at Holistic Health, and it's something that I know, Dave, you have personal experience with, and also kind of a lot to say as it relates to this and your relationship as far as an ex-diabetic and some of the things that diet soda kind of brings into the picture. And to just state the obvious, let's just jump right into it. I mean, to state the obvious, diet soda is marketed with the intention that it is a healthier alternative to regular soda, because it doesn't have sugar and it doesn't have calories. So why is it a problem for those people that are watching? Talk about why. Let's just start with the basics. What is it that's a problem as it relates to artificial sweeteners in the diet or into diet soda? And then we'll go from there.
Yeah, well, the issue is like you think you're doing a great job. You think you're doing the right thing by eating a no calorie, sweetener, but your body, when it takes in those lab created chemicals, doesn't understand what to do with them. And also they're like 200 to 1,000 times more sweeter than regular table sugar, refined sugar that you got on your table. It can be like high fructose corn syrup is 1,000+ times sweeter. It's cheaper. That's why it's in everything. So like, if you're like, look at the labels in your house. If you look at ketchup, for instance, it's 4 grams of sugar every time you squeeze it on your plate. For every, I think it's a tablespoon of ketchup is 4 grams of sugar. So it's in everything. And so when you're using these fake, I call them fake sweeteners, artificial sweeteners, fake sugars, your body kind of gets tricked into thinking that it's actually getting sugar, then it's craving. And then when it doesn't get it, it gets upset. And so it starts the ball rolling, and now you're craving it. So now you're looking around your house for what can I eat that's sweet? So if you ever like drink a Diet Coke or eat something like a sugar-free cookie, you can't eat just one. And now because your body's going, come on, give it to me. That's not enough. So your body really kind of starts to crave that stuff. So that leads to like overeating, binge eating, all kinds of cravings for stuff. And there's a lot of issues with the artificial sweeteners in general. They're linked to cancers, obesity, brain fog. What else do we got here? I have a whole list. Oh, your gut health. It increases your risk of type 2 diabetes. That's huge because, like I said, your body thinks it's getting something that it's not. So you're going to eat, and then it messes with the whole thing because your insulin resistance, like I said, doesn't quite know what to do with it. And it might keep it low for a while, but it's messing with your whole gut, which kind of controls everything.
Yeah. So, essentially what we're saying is that while the marketing of something diet leads to you to believe that you're, like you said, you're doing the right thing because it's low calorie and it's low sugar, what we're running into is essentially a chemical that is being substituted for a real food. And one of the hallmarks of our, philosophy around eating, and I know yours too, is that we eat real food, things that are growing in the ground, that are living on the earth. Those are the things that, as a species, we are going to be most nourished by, from an amino acid protein, profile, and vitamin profile standpoint. So when you take a sugar substitute, your body is now dealing with the chemical that it sees as a it's a toxin. It is an actual chemical agent that you now have to detoxify. So your liver has to do a lot of work, and so all of the benefit of not having calories and sugar is counteracted by by these things. And so then, to your point, your body starts to crave more of the sweet flavor, because you're getting the flavor, but you're not getting anything behind it. Usually when your body gets that sweet flavor, it gets something that you can use for energy, for movement. And so when you don't get that, then your body thinks you have to eat more. So it's this counterintuitive thing where you think you're getting no calories, but then you're craving more food. So then you end up eating other things, and now you're ending up in a net negative, even though you got no calories from your diet soda. It's crazy.
And one of the things too, like eating fruit versus, an artificial, like fruit has fiber in it. It's got a lot of good nutrients, probiotics and stuff like that in the fruit. So, if you're really hungry for something sweet, go for the banana, go for the small orange or the small apple or whatever. Make sure you wash it first. You get any chemicals off of it if you're, eating the apple or whatever. But that's important to be able to eat the natural stuff. I try to pride myself on not eating stuff out of a box. I try to make stuff from scratch. Things that, that, I don't know, basically like our great grandmothers ate back in the day before all these chemicals and stuff came to be, that kind of stuff. And it's healthier for you. And they didn't have the issues that we have today. So like on a standard American diet, which we call SAD, is the average American eats 154 pounds of sugar every year. That's a lot. Our bodies weren't made to process all that stuff. So it's hard on our, like you said, our kidneys, our liver, everything, the whole gut line, the whole line of, digestion is just, it's at risk because we're eating all this stuff. And like I said, our body just has no clue what to do with it. So I can go into, I have a list here, like saccharin, which is sweet and low. Saccharin is sweet and low, and it is 300 to 400 times sweeter than regular table sugar. Aspartame, which is NutraSweet and equal, is 200 times sweeter than regular sugar. And it's linked to depression and headaches. So if you're a migraine person, you want to definitely stay away from that. High fructose corn syrup, like I said, it's in everything. And let's see what else we got here. Oh, so you want to talk about the study? You know who did this study? So the study on the sweeteners things, which I think is kind of funny, was actually done by the low calorie sweeteners industry. And
which study?
The study on how healthy that these artificial sweeteners are. They're saying in their study that there's nothing wrong with them at all.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're saying that the low calorie sweetener industry, which I'm going to say is a little bit biased for this study, and I think you have a page on that.
Right. Okay. Let me share this. Okay. I see where you're going. So basically, what you're saying is that this study, which shows the relationship between which is basically was set up to show that there is no negative outcome of utilizing artificial sweeteners, was funded by the artificial sweetener industry.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
It's like bacon being, by the smoked meats, pork's meats of America kind of thing.
Yeah. And this is one of the challenges with research today, that it's not quite as simple as just looking at the research articles. We now have to actually go back a step and figure out where are these things being funded by, because you can find a research article, if you're looking hard enough, that supports what you desire to see. So if you are a diet soda drinker and you want to continue to believe that that's really good, then you can find this study that says there's no negative outcome for artificially sweetened beverages. But then this particular study is on the relationship between the research outcome and the risk of bias, which means that the bias of the research is that the industry that wants you to buy more of their product is the one that set up this research article, which is insane. I mean, the fact that we have to even like go there is wild. You know what I mean? So you have that, and then on one hand, and then you've got this other one, there's a couple other ones that you sent me. One of them is this one, which is that artificial sweeteners and cancer risk. So there's a relationship now that's being done. And these are all PubMed articles. These are done by, this is National Institute of Health. So it's a reputable, organization that's doing these. This research article is basically concluded that the artificial sweeteners, especially aspartame and sulfame K, which are used in many food and beverage brands worldwide, were associated with increased cancer risk. That's the conclusion of this particular PubMed study. So increased cancer risk right there on, it's not my opinion, it's not your opinion. This is a research article. We've got this one. We've got this one that shows that the relationship between artificial sweeteners and diabetes, because if you're getting no sugar, then by logical conclusion, that should be a good thing for a diabetic who has the problem because they have too much sugar in their system. But this particular article has a different conclusion. There could be that artificial sweeteners restrict calories, but most of them have no beneficial effects on control of diabetes, rather possibly increase its risk.
Right,
again,
because you're craving it.
Not my opinion, but it's wild to think that, right?
Yeah, and as a diabetic, you crave sugar. You're like a sugar addict. Literally, like over the holidays, we had all these cookies sitting in the house, and I had to get rid of them all. Like, take them to work, get rid of them, do something with them. They talk to you during the day. It's like, don't leave them here. But that's huge. And if you want to change the way you eat, go to eat, like I said, fresh fruit. It's got vitamins A, C, E, magnesium, zinc, phosphorus, folic acid, antioxidants, and it's so much better for you. And in moderation, don't eat like a 6-pack of apples and expect your sugar to go down. It may spike a little bit, but the more your insulin starts to behave itself and starts to do what it's supposed to do, the less that banana is going to affect your sugar. So if you're on a full regular carnivore Sad American diet where you've got all the saturated fats, oils, salt, all that stuff in your diet, it kind of blocks the sensors so that it's not absorbed the way it should be. So once you go like plant-based or get a little bit more plant strong and eat more plants in your life, more vegetables, your insulin resistance will start to work and it'll start to get better. That's kind of what I did. But then you'll start to feel better, and you'll I don't know, reaching out to my fellow diabetics out there. If you have a cookie, a milkshake, something sweet, do your feet immediately start to tingle? Because that's where I was. And I would eat, I remember going out for one of my grandkids' celebrations, and we went to Dairy Queen, and I had a little small shake. And as soon as I drank it, my feet just started to tingle. And it's like almost immediate. So your body, you can feel your body. And maybe you've got neuropathy so bad that you don't feel it anymore, but that's a bad thing. But once you start getting the insulin resistance, it starts to go away and it starts to correct itself. Like I said, being on a plant-based or more plants, less American diet, you'll start to feel better. You'll have more energy, and your sugar will start to work right. It'll start to define it. So I highly recommend that. Go ahead.
Yeah, just going back to the artificial sweetener relationship here. Again, the thing about what you're pointing to, which is kind of getting more plant-based, getting more whole foods based, is really important. But also that, and also that the sweetener relationship, because that drives you to want more sugar, that drives you away from the way that you're talking about eating, right? So the diet soda, because you're keeping your sugar down, you're doing the right thing, but then it's actually initiating that cascade that your mouth wants something sweet, right? That's what you're saying. So then you're going to something sweeter. I mean, it's really mind blowing to realize how much we put so much emphasis over the last 20, 30 years on the numbers, which are important, but also we want to think about what are the driving forces behind this. And if you are starting to crave sweet because you are drinking something that has 200 times more sweet, in flavor than regular sugar, even though you're not eating the sugar, what do you think is going to happen as soon as that starts to dissipate from your mouth? You're going to want more something sweet. And then you may end up going to more sugar. You may end up going to something that has real sugar in it. And, and so it is just mind blowing how much we have to be vigilant and how important it is to just stay connected to the whole foods relationship, this relationship to real food, this relationship to the things that are going to nourish your body, as opposed to having all of these kind of negative consequences.
Yeah. And they have this thing now, if you go out to Forks Over Knobs or any of those places, called Nice Cream. And it's made with soybeans, non-dairy stuff, but it's sweetened with like peaches or blueberries, and it doesn't have sugar in it. It's just got natural sugars, complex carbs and stuff like that. So, being able to switch to that. I remember buying ice cream. I used to buy the I can't remember what brand name it was, but it had no sugar added. And it was still 11 grams for like a tablespoon. Vitamin D milk has sugar in it. There's sugar everywhere. So you just kind of pick and choose what you're looking for.
Yeah. And one of the things we talked about on one of our previous calls was ketchup, how much sugar is in ketchup, right?
Oh, yeah. 4 grams. Every time you go on your plate, it's 4 grams.
Right. So I know like for the listeners, we're bouncing back and forth between the dangers of sugar and the dangers of sugar substitutes. One of the things we just want to be really clear about in these conversations is that they each have their own challenges, and there are sweeteners that are more wholesome that your body, absorbs more slowly. Raw honey, maple syrup, things that come from a real place in the world, right? And then there are these kind of chemical components and this table sugar that they both are a problem, but for different reasons. They're both a problem for different reasons. The table sugar, especially if you're diabetic, is going to be the antithesis of what your body needs. But the diet or the sugar substitutes are going to drive you to want more sweet flavors, and they're also going to force your body to deal with the chemicals that make them up, and the link to cancer, and the link to we haven't really gone into a whole lot around irritable bowel and leaky gut, but there's a lot. There's also links to how sugar substitutes start to have a negative impact on the lining of your intestines, and can lead to all kinds of gut issues, microbiome issues, and
the gut controls everything.
Right.
Yeah. Your gut is really like your engine of your machine of your body. And if your gut's not working right, that's the main thing you got to, and like we talked about too, like eating like pickled stuff and, stuff to keep your gut healthy, through the day, versus like the diet sodas, like you said, it just destroys it, and it doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah. So let's end this on a happy note, because we've been talking for 20 minutes about the negative aspects of both artificial sweeteners as the primary, and then even and sugar. So I am a pre-diabetic, and I am now not able to drink my diet soda. I'm not able to eat sugar.
I'm not happy.
I can't have ketchup. You're telling me that my life sucks. What can I do? What can I use that is going to make me feel like positive? What can I have so that I can have a little bit of a sweet, my little sweet tooth can get its cravings taken care of, but it's not going to be miserable for me.
Well, and that's the thing. Like we made the avocado chocolate mousse. It's flavored with are sweetened with maple syrup. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a very simple recipe. It's an avocado, it's a third a cup of maple syrup, and a tablespoon or two of chocolate powder. And you just mix it together, and that's but using the maple syrups and the honey to actually sweeten whatever you're making versus putting regular sugar into it or using an artificial sweetener. Baking with some of those things, I know that they say like you can do it, it's no calorie. It never tastes right. And you're almost better off to actually have the real sugar. The problem with table sugar is it's so refined. There's no nutrients to it anymore. There's no fiber in it. There's nothing to it. So it's just straight sugar. If you go to like sugar in the raw or some of the other sugars that are a little bit less refined, you'll get a little bit more nutrients out of it. I wouldn't say stick to it, but if you just eliminate like a diet soda, like stop drinking diet soda for a couple of days. And I say this because I have a very close friend of mine that I'm married to that said, she said, I was feeling foggy at work. I keep walking into rooms and forgetting why I went in there. And I said, are you still drinking Diet Coke? And she's like, yeah. I said, stop for a week and then come back and tell me what's going on. And she looked at me, she said, get your phone out. I said, why? She goes, because you were right.
Yeah. Very
and I'm
good,
like,
very
okay.
good.
So, I mean, you'll see a difference. Like, just give it up for a couple of days. And I know you're going to get a headache. You're going to be grumpy. But switch it to like seltzer water with a lime or a couple blueberries in it or something. Make a little, what are they called? Virgin drinks, or what do they call them now? Mocktails. Make some mocktails. I mean, it doesn't have to have all the sweeteners in it. If you're using fruit or anything like that, a berry, it's going to sweeten it up for you. And then eventually you'll kind of get to the point where the sugar stuff, like I had somebody accidentally got a sweet tea through the drive-through the other day, and it tasted like I couldn't, it was so sweet I couldn't even drink it. But your taste buds will change where it's too sweet. And like we talked about salt, it's too salty because I'm not used to eating that way anymore. I don't eat that anymore. Mm-hmm. Instead of I can't have it, because that's bad. Because if anybody ever told you can't have something, you want it more. So you have to change your mind frame up and say, I don't do that anymore. I don't drink that anymore. I don't eat that cookie anymore. And it will help you. It got me through the holidays, being able to change that phrase.
It's crazy to think how many of us are 3 days away from changing our life, mm-hmm. getting over that 3-day kind of craving, that 3-day headache, that 3-day kind of hangover that you get when you stop either eating too much sugar or having your diet sodas or something like that. We're like 3 days away from changing our lives. And that is powerful to think about. It's like, I don't know. It's just so fascinating. Like, what we're going through in this life. But the good news is honey, maple syrup, mocktails, seltzer mm-hmm. with fruit in it, seltzer with, those are really good substitutes. And you can have some of that even if you're trying to cut back on your sugar. So this is awesome, Dave. Thank you. Really good dive into artificial sweeteners and some of their dangers, and looking forward to the next one with you.
And you guys are getting ready to start your liver detox?
Liver detox coming up. Should be starting soon. Hope to see a lot of people in there. We've got a bunch of people signed up already, so it's going to be an awesome 3 weeks. Yeah.
And that's huge, just to experiment, even if you're not doing your formal detox, to experiment and stop drinking caffeine for a couple of days. I know that's hard for people. I know like doing the detox study when I did it, that was like the biggest thing for everybody, was to stop drinking caffeine the first couple of days. So, but yeah, just do it and see what happens. I quit drinking dairy because it was inflammatory for me. I can't do dairy.
It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. Well, maybe we'll talk dairy on the next one, but this was awesome.
That could be fun. Yeah.
And really, really fun to talk with you as always. And thanks again. And just remind everybody where they can find you.
We're getting ready to do a thing at the Frederick Social. I think it's the 25th of January. We're going in, we're going to do a dinner. I'm not quite sure what the price is going to be, but we're going to be there. I'm going to do a little spiel on a standard American diet and how sad it is. So I'll be there, and I'm doing a couple of things around Frederick, where I'm just kind of doing an introduction to our 4-week series. And I'm online at shefferhealth.com.
Very good. Thanks again, Dave. And
Yeah, man.
look forward to chatting soon.